reported only their unpleasant experiences. The third and last group made a daily list of things for which they are grateful. The results of the study indicated that daily gratitude exercises resulted in higher reports of alertness, enthusiasm, determination, optimism, and energy. Additionally, the gratitude group experienced less depression and stress, was more likely to help others, exercised more regularly, and made more progress towards personal goals. According to the findings, people who feel grateful encourage a positive cycle of reciprocal kindness among others, since one act of gratitude encouraged another. So we can see that gratitude is important. It's important to our faith, important to our relationships, important to our relationship with God, and perhaps even important to our health. Why then is it so hard sometimes to have this attitude of gratitude and to make it a part of our daily living? In our scripture lesson this morning, this evening, Jesus heals 10 lepers. Now, this is a big deal. Having leprosy wasn't like having a common cold or the flu, but rather having leprosy meant that you were outcast. You were untouchable, unwanted, and unwelcomed by society. Jesus healing a leper was like giving them a new life, or at least a second chance at a life they already had. So as we read the story, of course those lepers were filled with gratitude and they went running back to give thanks to Jesus. But that's not what happens at all. We see in our passage instead that one of the lepers goes back to say thank you, but the other 9 just simply disappear. Remembering to give our thanks for our blessings, whether they be something big like being cured of leprosy or something small, can be difficult. Even when we have 24 hours a day, 1 day a year, just simply set aside for giving thanks. Several years ago, I was challenged by a friend to keep a list of 1 thing per day for an entire year for something for which I was grateful. Yet when he offered the challenge, he shared that for him, the challenge became more difficult as time went on, because the rule he gave himself was that he couldn't do anything throughout the year. 1 thing per day, no doubles throughout the year. However, for myself, I found it to be the opposite. The more I shared about those things for which I was thankful, the more I realized how much I had to be thankful for. As I began to think about this challenge, I began to realize that several things started to happen the more grateful I became. As a result of being intentionally thankful each day, I found myself becoming more and more aware and open to those little blessings I have in my life. The second thing I noticed was that I had an increased empathy and awareness of those things that others did not have. Finally, I was more committed to taking care of those things and people for which I was thankful. The first thing that I found about gratitude was that the more I was lifting up things for which I was thankful, the more I was able to recognize in my life things to be thankful for. Melody Beatty is quoted as saying, "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a simple meal into a feast, a simple house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. When we are able to live lives full of gratitude, we are able to identify even the smallest little things in our lives as blessings, and that can truly change our lives. As we strive to lift up and be thankful for the blessings in our lives, the more we focus our minds and hearts on gratitude, the more our eyes are open to the blessings in our lives, both great and small. gratitude for our own blessings can make us ever more aware of those things which others don't have. Giving thanks for the food on our own table can and should stir up within us an awareness and a heightened sensitivity to those who have no food. Being grateful for our own health should make us more aware of those who are struggling with their health. And it can also stir up within us a desire to reach out to others as a response to our own blessings. I love the story that a woman named Maria Dam tells about her interaction with a panhandler named Sunny. She says, Sunny was on the subway every day with me. Every day for years and years. He was a little different because he had a great pitch. He approached cranky subway riders with humility and understanding. If you don't have it, I understand. I don't have it either. As he passed through the cars on one particular day with his hat in his hand collecting spare change from the other subway riders, she said something welled up inside of her. She always considered Sunny her panhandler, every day dedicating her spare change to him. But this day was different. She said she watched him carefully. She noticed the smile that was always present on his face and his God bless you to anyone, whether they gave to him or not. Instead of going on to the next car, Sunny rode all the way to her subway stop with her, and then he got off. She was concerned because this was unusual for Sunny. She said, my inner voice told me to make sure he was okay. And just that morning, I had made a solemn promise to myself and to God to always listen to that voice when I heard it. So there was no way out. I had to take action. She began to run down the platform to talk to Sunny, who was going in the opposite direction. She called his name and he turned around and smiled at her as if he had known her all his life. She asked if he had enough money to eat that night. She was sure he didn't, but he humbly said that he'd be okay, not to worry. She knew that wasn't the truth, so she handed him some bills from her purse and asked again if that would be enough. His eyes lit up, she said, as he told me he'd be staying at a local church that night. And not only was the amount that she had given him enough for him to eat, but it was enough for him to help pay for someone else to pay the money as well. She says that Sunny then proceeded to tell her how grateful he was to have helpful people in his life and how blessed he was. She says, I was absolutely stunned. This man seemed to have nothing. But Sunny didn't think he had nothing. In his mind, he was rich and he was grateful. To share and celebrate his success with someone gave him so much joy. The more grateful we are for what we have, whether the blessings be large or small, the more we are moved to share those blessings with others. The more our lives take on an attitude of gratitude, the more we inspire others to live with the same attitude. Finally, during this challenge, I noticed the more that I lifted up the blessings in my life for which I was grateful, the more I was moved to be a better steward of relationships and blessings. When we are aware of blessings in our lives and how much richer they make our lives, certainly we strive to take better care of them. I like the way one preacher puts it. He says, count your blessings, share your blessings, be a blessing. So as we gather with family and friends this Thanksgiving, may we all strive to count our blessings, to share our blessings, and to be blessings. Let us pray. Loving God, we ask that you help us to open our eyes to the blessings you have given us in abundance. Help us to be blessings to those around us and to reach out to those who need.